Now, some simple instructions on how to handle change in your life on your cell phone or at your voicemail. I'm not available right now, but thank you for caring enough to call. I'm making some changes in my life. Please leave a message after the beep. If I do not return your call, you are one of the changes. Simple. Now, knowledge is the precursor to experience. Would you agree? The more knowledge you have, I tell my kids this every time I talk to them, the more knowledge you have, the more prepared you are for any experience in your life. And when you learn knowledge, you are reading about somebody else's experience. Would you agree? And so someone else has actually done it, and they're giving you a roadmap. Yes? And someone said to me on my way back here yesterday, well, can you give me a real bottom line one-liner about the quantum field so I can wrap my mind around it? It's a field of information. It's a field of unlimited information that every experience of every single thing, from the smallest microorganism to the most advanced culture in the universe, in this level of dimension, all other dimensions, past, present, and future, exist in the field of information called the quantum field. How many people understand? Is there beings that have genius, that have dumped their wisdom into this field of information? Yes. Is there inventions that you and I haven't thought of that exist in this field of information? Yes. What do you think happened to Einstein? He asked himself a question when he was 12 years old. If I drive my bicycle at the speed of light and I turn my lamp on, will the light go on? Thought about that question every day of his life. He used to lay in a boat and go out on a lake and look up into eternity and contemplate this and build a model and tear it down and build it back up again and look at it from different ways and try to piece it together. Did it for 10 years. And he's working as a third-rate clerk in a Swiss patent office. He's on the top level floor, and he's looking out at a man fixing the roof. And he pauses for a second, his brain goes into trance, and boom, he gets the download. And he has visions that are so abstract, so conceptual, that he's got to go back to school to learn the mathematics to understand what he just saw. Because mathematics is a language. You think that he got that from his identity? Or do you think it came from the field? Yes? So his brain was wired for light. And when he wrote his equation, when he wrote his theory, his postulates on relativity, he didn't say, oh, you know, this person said this, and this person said that, and this person said this, and I have these footnotes, so I'm saying this. He said, ladies and gentlemen, E equals mc squared. That's the way it is. He didn't have any footnotes. He was finding it from another source. You with me? So the more knowledge you have, the more prepared you are for the experience. Once you have an experience, what's the end product of experience? Oh my goodness. Poke the person next to you. It's an emotion. Would you agree? Yes. An emotion then is information chemically of your reaction from your environment. It is information, chemical information from that experience. Now, if you look back at how you created that experience that produced that emotion, wouldn't you agree that's called understanding? With my children, I ask them two questions. How do you think you created it? Let's just talk about, was there any emotions that you have consciously or unconsciously that created this? And the only other thing I care about is, if you had another opportunity, how would you do it again? And let's get some knowledge going here so we can build the greatest model. And I ask them 10 times in one day. Well, so it happened, what would you do? And they tell me, if it happened, what would you do? If it happens again, what would you do? Finally, what are they doing? They're rehearsing it so much so that they finally say, Jesus, Dad, I can't wait till this experience happens so you leave me alone. I'm like, okay, now you're ready. After that understanding, what is after that? It's called wisdom. the looking back at the experience without the emotional charge, and your decision, if it happened again, you can do it better or differently. And once you have that wisdom, that's called evolution, and that evolution filters right back into your knowledge base, and you are on your way in destiny. How many people understand? That's called life. Now, if you keep experiencing the same emotion, that would be called disease. Would you agree? Because no new information is coming in from the environment, and the person is staying in the same cycle of thinking and feeling, and they're keeping the same genes turned on and the other genes turned off. You with me? And are you with me? Yes. And if you should have this in your handout, by the way. And would you agree then that if you're living by those emotions that are survival-based, that are stress-based, that those emotions are a scientific fact, those emotions push the genetic button that create disease, dysregulate and downregulate the genes? So emotions aren't bad. They're the end product of experience. But if we're not having any new emotions, if we're living by the same emotions every day, wouldn't you agree we're not having any new experiences? Right. Yes? Yeah, right. And when a new experience happens that dumbfounds you or blows your doors off, and it's a whole new energy, it's a whole new signature, and your mind is no longer on the petty small stuff that you thought was so important. Your mind is elsewhere. You understand?